Yeah. No, I just wanted to keep this one short because I don't know. I was thinking about where we can go with this because, like, how many people are gonna listen to us talk about this stuff?
Yeah, well, we got a comment.
We did.
Welcome to Food is Medicine, where medicine meets the menu. The podcast where the art of culinary excellence meets the science of modern medicine. Join the world's first and finest chef-neurologist dynamic duo, Dr. Victor Wang and Chef Dennis Arvizu, as they dive into the powerful link between our dietary choices and our well-being. Uncover the impactful ways in which simple changes in diet can ward off chronic illnesses, sharpen mental acuity, and contribute to a longer, healthier life. Prepare to be hungry for more than just food. Tune in to their insightful and occasionally spicy discussions today, and find out how the food choices you make can spice up your health for a tastier tomorrow.
So, welcome back. Just now, what, Dennis? Your how many days status post surgery?
I'm out. Today makes 10 days.
It's been 10 days already.
Yeah, 10 days.
Oh my God. And you've been doing pretty well?
Overall, yes. I mean, still some lingering pains, but to be expected. Back pain, all of that radiating pain going down the legs, all of that's hasn't been in existence since I've been out of surgery. So that's been a big plus.
Yeah, and the surgery, like, did the pain go away like immediately when you woke up from surgery? Was it gone?
Yeah, when I woke up, I mean, one of the big ones was I was having kind of chronic pain in my right knee, like kind of this throbbing ache. That was the first thing I noticed that was gone when I woke up out of surgery.
Great.
And I haven't noticed it since. So far, so good. Yeah, walking a little bit more, little by little every day, and weaning myself off of the painkillers because those take a while. So really just on anti-inflammatory medicines at this point and following my anti-inflammatory dietary regimen as well.
Yeah. So remind me again that they went through the front, right? And
Yes.
for lower back surgery, so you have an incision in your abdomen I think you mentioned about 5 inches long.
Yeah, so it's on the left side of my abdomen, left lower quadrant, I guess you can say. It's about 5 inches, a vertical incision, and it goes along right around this. I don't even know what kind of muscle it's called. So it's parallel to this muscle that goes around your abdomen,
Your abdominal muscles.
and essentially it's surgery is done by two surgeons. One is the vascular surgeon, and he's the one that cuts me open and moves all my intestines to one side, and then my neurosurgeon went in and cleaned out all of the calcium buildup around my vertebrae and took out whatever remaining discs I had between else. And then they put what they call back like a cage. I look at it as like a little horseshoe with bone graft that they take into it, and then they literally like mallet it in. And so I'll be back to see my post-op in about 2 weeks, and I'll actually get to see the x-rays of the final product.
Your new back. Yeah.
My new back. But so far, what's ironic is that pain-wise, like in being sore and whatnot in recovery, what I feel is the incision. I really haven't felt anything in my back so far, which has been awesome.
Good. I imagine that incision pain will get better over time.
Yeah, little by little every day, it's diminishing, and the swelling has definitely gone down. And yeah, I mean, it'll take some time to heal, but overall, so far,
Great. Yeah, and so take us through your regimen. You had mentioned last time we spoke, had prepared some frozen soups, and you'd sort of done an anti-inflammatory regimen.
yeah. So going into the surgery, I had started looking up what potential foods you should consume post-surgery. And ironically, I was looking at that as I was at the hospital about what like was being offered to me to eat during, your hospital food days.
Yeah, you were there for
And
like 5 days, 5 days afterwards?
I was there for 3 nights.
3 nights.
Yeah, so I went in bright and early on a Monday morning, and I left last Thursday, so about a week ago in the evening. So it was 3 nights, and essentially kind of the same thing as I had been setting up here. They offered me just plain bone broth. And of course, it has like no flavor, right? You're at a hospital, so everything is
Yeah, low salt,
flavorless.
low salt, and
Yeah,
yeah.
no salt, and a lot of whole grain. So a lot of quinoa, brown rice, farro was some of the offerings. They did offer me some lean protein, like one day I think it was chicken, one day it was turkey, and I couldn't remember the other day. But I really just focused on the grains and the greens. They offered me a lot of green beans and spinach, broccoli, and fruit, primarily berries for all the antioxidants. And so here at home, I have almost the same. So my green juice blend, I have a lot of celery, I have a lot of broccoli, kale, spinach in it. And then, I put some citrus for some flavor, orange juice or lemon.
You're still
And
keeping it low
then
salt as well.
I'm keeping everything pretty much low salt. I feel that for me, my tolerance level for salt has gone down. I seem to eat, I guess you can say, a little bit lower salt in general, my sodium consumption. And I think part of it for me is like as I've consumed more and more plant-based options or just plants in general, I always like to taste everything raw to kind of get a better feel of the flavor of what I'm consuming. So when
As a
I'm
chef,
actually,
especially, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and as I cook it, trying to find that breaking point where, like, if you overcook it, you lose that flavor, right? So for anyone cooking at home, you really just what in the kitchen we call par cook. You just kind of cook it midway, so you still have your green color. It just looks like you almost like you gave the vegetable a bath, right? And so
So that's
it's
what they say
not
when it's parboiled or par. Can you par fry something? Par
par
bake?
cooked. Yep.
Par
So
cooked?
it's essentially it's partially cooked, partially boiled.
Right.
Yeah. Or you'll hear the term blanched,
Mm-hmm.
which essentially is when you get like boiling water. You usually season your water with a little bit of salt. You dunk whatever you're gonna cook. So if it's carrots, if it's broccoli, you hold it in there for depending on the item that you have. If a carrot could be like 60 seconds, and then you toss it in ice water so it stops the cooking process. And so that's where you get a lot. Like if you go to like salad bars, greens or vegetables are blanched or part cooked. And so the last couple of days, I've really focused on just soft foods. You mentioned earlier the soup, defrosted, I think 2 quarts of it. One of it just kept it as is. Essentially, it's a base out of bone broth. So you can get, I think in this case, I think it's a quart of like Costco bone broth that
Mm-hmm.
you find. Then I added just, went pretty heavy on garlic. So for like 1 quart, I probably went about half a head of garlic. I'd say about probably about 3 carrots, large carrots, about 2 large celeries, celery stalks, and about a medium onion. So essentially, cook with a little bit of olive oil. Kind of make sure all your vegetables get really soft without getting any color in the pan. Add your stock or your chicken broth and boil it. I like to go, I mean, if you have the time, I like to put it in the oven because it stays at a constant temperature. I feel like it cooks a lot more smoothly and evenly. But if you just do it on the stove top, kind of a medium boil, a good hour, and then blend it in your blender until it gets pureed as much as possible, and you're good to go. You can season it, freeze it, and that's a good base for anything else that you want to do.
It's kind of, I mean, that's, you're talking like a soup base, and
Mm-hmm.
it's, you said you blended it. So is it more like a sort of thick soup than sort of the chicken noodle, type of broth plus
Yeah,
vegetables.
so good point. So if you don't blend it, you would have it's like your base for your chicken noodle, Campbell's, I don't know, whatever, Progresso
Right,
you would see
right.
with you could see the vegetables in it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you puree it, it becomes, I don't want to say like a mashed potato consistency, but let's just say watery mashed potatoes because it's pretty. It should be pretty fluid, and let's just say more like an applesauce consistency. It's not thick, it's not thin. Of course, if you cook it down more, it becomes really pasty.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, it's just like a good puree. And I think about it also. I think I was talking to one of the nurses about it. It's a good way to try to incentivize kids to eat their vegetables, right? Because if you can,
It's a way to trick them into eating or drinking
if
or
yeah, because if you can make it taste like Campbell's or whatever, what is it, Progresso or Progressive? I don't even know.
Progresso. Yeah.
Yeah, if you make it taste like that, then those are what the kids know. Kids see like, oh, the Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it tastes like Campbell's chicken noodle soup, but it's only a much more nutritious version without all of the preservatives, that preserve your food for years to come.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think we'll keep track of your progress as you get better. It sounds like the not everybody gets better immediately like you did, which is, I mean, that's great for you. So I'm glad that all the pain is gone, and hopefully it stays that way for as long as possible. And the only thing that really needs to heal is really your incision. And you have a follow up. You said next week, in a few days.
Yeah, I think it's about a week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they say when? Did they give you sort of a timeline as to fully healing?
So the process as a whole, for your spine to be completely healed, takes about 12 months. Basically, for the bone to kind of, I don't want to say glue itself back together, but like grow and but after about 6 months, or I mean, it's the midway point, but you're starting to feel kind of get back into doing more
Normal,
of
normal.
more of the strenuous exercise or day to day
Yeah.
stuff that you'd used to do. And I think it's how you take care of your back. You look at how to strengthen your core and whatnot as you go, as life progresses, so you can assist your spine from not putting as much pressure on the remaining discs that are flexible.
Right.
Because
Good.
yeah, when I was talking to the surgeon about it, one of the big questions that comes up from patients, and myself included, was what's the possibility or that I'll have to go through this process again. And and as most doctors I've talked to about this, it's, as they call it, it's a coin toss, right? There's no, with any surgery, I mean, there's no guarantee that this is the end all for this type of pain. However, it's now, how do you adjust your lifestyle to, I guess you could say, prevent further stress on your spine. If you don't take care of it, it's a good probably 10 years, and another part of your spine might need the same process as since as the bones fused, the rest of it takes a little bit of the grunt work.
Right. Exactly. So the levels above and below take on more stress as with your activities, since you've made that part stronger with the surgery, the part that they put the cage in, I guess. But
Yeah.
yes, it's generally it's in the spine, because everything's fused together. It's the parts above and below, and so you just don't want to injure those. I mean, people will come in for surgeries above and below over time, and hopefully, I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but yeah, because of the stresses, that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think of, as my doctor put it, it's on how do you adapt your lifestyle. If you don't change anything, you just kind of try to go back to how you always lived your life. It's good chance it'll erode a lot quicker, right?
Right. Exactly.
If you make some, lifestyle adjustments, that being like, for example, one thing that they wouldn't recommend as much anymore is like running out of all things.
Hmm.
Everybody says, go for a run. It's good for you. Well, it's yes and no. It's probably good for your cardiovascular health, but it's definitely not good for your
It's
your
not
joints or
easy
your
on the
spine.
joints. Exactly.
Yeah. So that
So
was like
running's pretty tough, and maybe we could talk about that in the future. Yeah,
mhm.
like how much running stresses the body, but yeah.
Yeah. So like something as simple as that, I was like, well, yeah, because I was like, I used to run. I mean, I may not look like it, but I used to run quite a bit, and yeah. So one of the doctors like told me, he's like, I would recommend you don't run anymore. It's like, it'll help preserve your spine that much more, but it's a lifestyle choice that
Yep. So
I
you can
have to.
substitute, yeah, with like biking or elliptical or
Hmm.
various other things. Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, I mean, from there, he just talk about, as he would put it, any high impact sports. The fastest thing that come to mind is what, football, right?
Football. Yeah. Football's pretty tough on the body. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so essentially now it's really lifestyle changes, but overall, so far so good. Uh,
Yeah. And we'll keep track of your progress. We'll maybe keep this short and keep track of your progress as time goes on. But it sounds like you're on the way to a
mhm.
full recovery.
Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
far so good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on this enlightening episode of Food as Medicine, where medicine meets the menu. We hope today's episode has inspired you to rethink the role of food in your health journey. Remember, the power to nourish your body and mind lies on your plate. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share Food as Medicine, where medicine meets the menu, on all major podcast platforms with others who are passionate about living well. Until next time, keep experimenting in the kitchen and discovering the powerful, healing potential that lies within every meal.